2017 will likely go down as one of the greatest years in video games in quite a long time. In spite of a couple developers who seem to make it their goal to make 2017 the worst year in gaming history, this year was packed full of amazing games that were not only good for the year, but will go down as some of the greatest games ever and will be enjoyed for many years to come. There was simply not enough time in the year to enjoy all the great games that came out, and that's probably the only real reason why I was able to make this list. And so, here they are, my top 10 favorite games of 2017. This was the year where developers took some risks by taking some of their most beloved franchises and changing things up. And if there was ever a series that needed a change up, it was Assassin's Creed. And Assassin's Creed Origins did just that in such an amazing way. Introducing RPG elements like leveling and looting, a much needed improvement to a fairly mindless combat system, and an open world full of so many different things to do. I am still in the early stages of my journey in Assassin's Creed Origins, and that's the main reason why it's on the bottom of my list. But I am having loads of fun, anticipating all the great things I get to do in this game. I'm excited to run around Egypt, hunting, assassinating bad guys, fighting in the arena, and exploring the temples. I can only hope that the unwelcomed shop doesn't ruin the experience for me like it did in Shadow of War. Look, I'm not going to insult anybody's intelligence by claiming that Call of Duty World War II is the best video game ever, or the best shooter ever, or even the best Call of Duty game ever. But it does hold a special place in my heart because it's one of the very first Call of Duty games that I've ever truly been able to enjoy. Thanks in large part to War Mode and a few other perks that you can access in the game, I was able to competitively enjoy this game. Recently, I did a video where I went into more detail about my experiences playing shooters as a visually impaired gamer, so you can check out that video if you want to learn more about that specific topic. World War II is not at all groundbreaking, nor is it flawless, and it's another game that has fallen victim to the loot box plague. In spite of all of this, I still find myself hopping on from time to time to enjoy a few war matches, which is just enough to get me to ignore all the flaws and appreciate the game for what it does for me, being a shooter that I can actually play. Look, I'm not gonna lie, at first I wasn't thinking too much about Injustice 2. I mean, I love the story from the first game, but I'm more of a Mortal Kombat fan. But the more I watched and the more I heard about the game, the more interested I became. The game has RPG elements like leveling and gear? And they're gonna have the Ninja Turtles? Are you kidding me? Eventually, I just had to pick it up, and I've been having fun with it ever since. The story and its presentation went beyond expectations. I appreciate NetherRealm for proving that just because it's a fighting game doesn't mean that it can't have a good story, and it can't have more depth. Being able to customize your characters with gear and stats is a welcome change to fighting games. And while I am having fun hunting down the gear and customizing my favorite characters, as you can imagine, I do have one major complaint, and that is that this loot system ultimately feels like another way to get us to buy more freaking loot boxes. God, it's an epidemic at this point. Nevertheless, I will hunt as much gear and go as far as I can without giving them a single extra dime. And in the process, I look forward to getting used to a different kind of combat system than I'm used to. I mean, if this were Mortal Kombat 10, I feel like I could hold my own with Scorpion. But this is not Mortal Kombat 10. This is Injustice 2, and the fighting style is very different. But that is a-okay with me because I want to get better at it. And I look forward to doing more of that in 2018. Trying to explain to someone if they're going to like Persona 5 is actually a lot more complicated than you would think. It's a lot more than just an anime-style JRPG, but the art style, the music, and just the general feel of the game really caught my interest. This was my very first Persona game, and I really liked the premise. By day, you are just a normal high school student, but at night, you delve into the minds of twisted people and fight the physical manifestations of their inner demons. What I really enjoyed about this game were all of the different parts. During the day, you're managing your time, building relationships, improving your skills, which would then come to play at night when you're facing off against the shadows. This all comes together as a very big time management sim, where you are given a deadline and each day you have to choose which actions you think are most important. Like, should you go to the library and study so that you can get smarter, or should you try to get closer to your hot classmate Anne? I really enjoy the core of this game, but there are some things that are a little off-putting. Like, this game is really wacky. I mean, what the heck am I fighting right now? And while I do enjoy the story and the depth of all the characters, it does feel a little long-winded at times. And it's especially frustrating at times when I'm trying to plan out my days and the game just sort of takes over and forces me into certain story elements that take up the day. No, Morgana, I'm not tired. I don't want to go to bed. I want to go to Big Bang Burger and take on the Big Burger Challenge. I've got this. Let me go. God. What do you do when a development team is utter trash at making video games and has turned their IP into a complete joke by making one bad game after another? Well, you have another developer who understands what made that IP good and have them make the game. And that's exactly what happened with Sonic Mania. 2017 gave us 2 Sonic games, and the one that was actually good was not made by Sonic Team, and that tells you everything you need to know. Where other franchises were taking risks by taking steps forward, Sonic Mania is a game that takes a step back into the days of Sonic that we remember the most fondly. It's retro and it's 2D and it's Sonic at his best. Oh, Cuphead. Dear sweet Cuphead. If you've been on this channel recently, you know all about my feelings when it comes to this game. You f***ing c***er. You f***ing motherfucker. I'm getting upset. I have a love-hate relationship with Cuphead, as I'm sure many of you do as well. On its surface, Cuphead is a fantastically hand-drawn trip back to the old-school rubbery cartoons that our grandparents grew up on. But at its core, Cuphead is a nightmare that will send you to hell and back 100 times over. You see, the devil, he's not after Cuphead's soul. He's not after Mugman's soul. He's not even after any of the souls that he sends you out to get for him. He's out for your soul. And if you play this game, it will take your soul. It will take it, and it will squeeze it, and scrunch it down until it's nothing left, and you're just a soulless body playing a video game. And that's just after level 1. Remember earlier how I said that companies were taking much needed risks for their IPs that really paid off? Well, Resident Evil 7 is the poster child for that statement. It may be a far cry from the old Resident Evil zombie survival style games that we remember fondly, but Resident Evil 7 is fun, it's fresh, and it's terrifying. And I hear the VR version is even more terrifying, so no thanks. Its horrifying environments and its intimidating enemies gives you a sense of helplessness, but at the same time, the game provides you with the weapons you need to defend yourself. And personally, I prefer games that allow you to fight back instead of having you run away the whole time. In my opinion, the game is at its best when you're taking on the Baker family, but it does kind of have a weaker third act. But a more simplified yet compelling story and a shift in focus back towards horror and less on Michael Bay style action was a welcome change to Resident Evil 7, and it was one of the most fun experiences I had in 2017. And the award for the biggest unexpected delight for me in 2017 goes to Mario and Rabbids Kingdom Battle, hands down. Like, why is Mario with the Rabbids? Why are they in a strategy shooter game? What is going on? You know what? I don't care. It's fun. It's fine. It's fantastic. And I can't get enough of it. I want more battles. I want more challenges so I can just keep on playing. Yeah, the story is elementary and the Rabbids are silly, but I actually kind of like that. Seriously, Rabbid Peach is so sassy, and she's my favorite character in the game. I actually got a lot of chuckles from this game. Maybe that just says something about my maturity level, but you know what? I don't even care, because Mario & Rabbids is awesome. In an era where so-called gaming experts were proclaiming that 3D platformers were dead, we got a trip down memory lane with Crash Bandicoot, we got a love letter to Banjo-Kazooie fans with Yooka-Laylee, and we got an indie masterpiece with A Hat in Time. And then Nintendo said, hold my beer, and they gave us Super Mario Odyssey. 3D platformers are alive and well, and Mario is still the king of the genre. Mario Odyssey is by far my favorite Super Mario game ever, and it's one that I will see myself play through time and time again, and I'm not even done with my first playthrough yet. Seriously, I only have like 430 moons. Mario has always captured what I love about video games, which is pure fun and joy, and this game celebrates that. Everything from the retro callbacks to the pure sense of wonder as you explore each kingdom. The game simply encourages and rewards exploration. Having the freedom to go where I want to go in a world full of things to do makes Mario Odyssey seem like an endless delight. And that is why Super Mario Odyssey is one of my favorite games of the year and one of my favorite video games of all time. As I said, there were so many amazing games in 2017, but my number one game is clear. It's the sequel that I was waiting for, and it's the game that I have spent countless hours playing. That game, of course, is Destiny 2.
You serious?
Oh, come on, you knew I was going to say Breath of the Wild. I mean, how could I not? The moment I stepped foot into Hyrule on my first playthrough, I knew that I was getting into something special. And that feeling has yet to diminish, even now on my third playthrough. The art is stylized and breathtaking, and the environments legitimately feel real. The game captures the sense of wonder that Mario Odyssey gave, but in a completely different way. Where Mario Odyssey is a celebration of everything we love about Mario, Breath of the Wild is a game that breaks ground and pushes the envelope on how we experience a Zelda game. And at the same time, it recaptures that same feeling we had from the very first time we ever played a Zelda game. For me, Breath of the Wild is simply a flawless game, except for when the motion controls come into play. The exploration, the challenge, and the seemingly endless number of puzzles to solve will bring me back to Breath of the Wild for many years to come. It's a game that longtime Zelda fans love, but it's fresh enough that it can be enticing to newcomers as well. It's been such an amazing journey that I can say now, on my third playthrough, that Legend of Zelda Breath of the Wild is my favorite video game of all time, which automatically makes it number one on my list of top 10 games of 2017. And so you've heard my top 10 games of 2017, but I would love to hear yours. So if you'd like, feel free to share your top 10 games of 2017 in the comments below. If you enjoyed this video, let me know by hitting that like button. And feel free to share it with your friends so they can enjoy it as well. You can also subscribe to the channel and follow me on Twitter at TheKephas to be notified as soon as new videos are posted. Thanks for watching, have a wonderful day, this is Kephas, until next time.